Smack. Welcome to Super Smack.
Super Smack.
The Super Rugby podcast from the fans, for the fans, the end of round 7.
Round 7.
Round 7.
So we're 16 rounds, right, before the playoffs.
Yeah, so not quite halfway.
So we're not quite halfway, but we are getting
16
there.
16 rounds, or does that include the finals?
No, I'm pretty sure. No, it's 19 rounds all up, I think,
Okay,
including the 3 weeks of
So we're
finals.
not quite halfway.
We're not quite halfway.
Next round.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why are we even
16
talking?
minus
The
8
week
is-
before halfway. Yeah.
We've almost done half.
Mate, but we've got some news. We've got some news from the weekend. News.
What is the news? I don't actually know.
Well,
what
the
this is.
news is there's a new table topper.
Oh, come on.
There's a new table topper for the first time this season. The
Yeah, you're right.
Queensland Reds.
Yep. And you who said that there won't be any Australian teams in the finals.
I still potentially stand by
Still
that.
potentially?
I still potentially. No, I actually still stand by that. But mate, they're top of the table. You're second, and you have to play them next week.
It's
And
gonna be a doozy.
and what do we know about your history with the Reds, mate?
Yeah,
what do we know about the Chiefs' history
with
with the
couple of
Reds?
speed bumps with the Reds. We lost to them
2 years in a row.
2023 in Queensland, which is understandable
Yeah.
sometimes to lose to a team.
And where
when
did
they're
you
in their
lose?
home.
And where did you lose to them last year?
FMG, which is where they're playing them next week.
Those cowbells couldn't keep them away. Yeah, they had you. What do you think? I got to say, what do you think it is about the what is it about the Reds?
It's nothing, mate. It's just an accident. It's just a little accident that happens sometimes. I mean, you've had plenty of them this season.
Yeah, well, there maybe were a few this weekend, but are we saying that
There was
they're
a couple of big upsets this weekend.
very happy accidents?
Yeah, big accidents.
But I don't know, mate. Like I'm starting to wonder. It's it's been all
Stop
glory
clutching,
for you.
mate. We were on a bye week. Just enjoy your little week that you didn't have the Chiefs in the competition. It's fine. We're fine.
Do you know what? I think it was all the better for it, the competition, because the Chiefs weren't there. We're sick of it, mate.
We're not quite the Crusaders yet.
No,
Come
you're
on.
not. No, you'd actually have to win something
Fuck up.
to be that. How many did they win in the end, the Crusaders? How many have they won?
I think it's
always
10,
forget.
is it?
No, it's like
It
14,
was 7 in a row,
isn't
wasn't it? Yeah, okay. What?
It's absolutely
many.
outrageous.
Too
You've
many
won
if you
2.
ask me.
Hopefully you can win another one this year.
All right, well, so we start talking about the actual games this week. Where do we start? I mean, obviously...
Yeah, sorry, I was talking about the bye. So there were 2...
Mate, come on.
What?
Let's talk about your game.
What about it? You lead
tell
it off,
me.
mate.
Well, one thing I have to say
You
about
lead it off.
Gareth-
And intro this. Make sure you intro
Okay.
this properly.
Well, what I think, the Hurricanes played the Waratahs,
Yes, they
Sky
did.
Stadium, a massive upset. The
Fuck
Waratahs
off.
were quite high up on the table.
That means
Hurricanes were
nothing.
almost at the bottom, like
No,
clutching
we
their way
weren't.
back up. I think a huge
was
upset,
7th.
mate. And what you've done is you finally started your season, which is quite nice, halfway through.
Wow.
So you put a little bit of pressure on yourself.
That's all you can muster.
Definitely
That
not.
half-hearted intro.
No,
Mate, we absolutely creamed them.
Yeah.
We didn't just win. We won in a fashion that only the Hurricanes can.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gareth Williams. He actually loses quite well, but when he wins, ooh, yuck.
Yeah, watch
disgusting.
out. Mate, it was glorious to see. I mean, I took to social media and I was dubbing it a masterclass, and I stand by that.
You did a super
You
smack.
can't-
You
you
did a
can't-
super smack Instagram takeover. You, without my permission, posted 7 things from the Hurricanes game.
Mate, you can't beat Wellington on a good day.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And they had a good day.
They did.
And it
9
was
tries, glorious tries.
9 tries to
absolute
2.
romping.
Absolute romping. And they were just scintillating. I mean, look, here's the thing. You say they've just started their season. Yeah, because they were shocked at the start of the season. They had lost a lot of players, and it was clear that they went, what do we do? Shit, we're going to have to find a way out of this. They have found their rhythm now, and they, unfortunately, the Tars are at the end of that. And that's the 7th time in a row that
I
has
love
happened.
that you bring up these stats. You brought that,
Mate, stats are very important. They're
but you
psychologically...
only look at the Hurricane stats.
I don't. I mostly do. Why would I bother looking at any other team's stats?
You just look at how
Man,
many
if I want to
times
fall
you've won.
asleep, I'll do that. But if I want to get really G'd up for like a night out, I'm like, Hurricanes. Hurricanes.
A few returning players. You had your All Black front row came back.
Beautiful.
Suoliti came back from his big toe injury.
Yeah, he finally got the gout sorted.
Yeah.
So, and kind of did nothing.
Well, I mean, what happened is that he got shut down by your midfield.
He got shut down
by two very good players.
Very, very good players. And you've bagged one of them in the past.
Well, I mean, he's a good Super Rugby player, 100%, and I stand by
He's a
that.
one-time All Black.
Yep, he is. Like many players in the world. That's not a good stat.
No, it's not. Peter Umaga Jensen and Balin Sullivan had a blinder.
Yeah, they were great.
Both on attack and defence.
But mostly
especially
defence, I think.
Balin Sullivan on defence was huge.
Some technically sound amazing
But
tackles.
they formed a great partnership. And in the absence of Billy Proctor, they're doing a bloody great job. Like, to think that he's still
Billy
out
who?
there. Exactly.
He's gone fishing with those
One-time All
beautiful
Black.
blue eyes.
Wow. Does he fish?
Well, he's got like fishy eyes. He looks like fish eyes. Like they're really stunning. They're very glowy.
Hang on. Like, are you saying that he's got fish eyes?
Well,
or just in the colour,
fish-
or in the, like,
fish have
he's
really-
got googly, weird
If you look at, have you
eyes
ever
on the
been
side of his
underwater?
head?
Have you ever been underwater and seen a
Yes,
fish's
mate, I've
eye?
been-
It looks amazing. Like it looks really nice under the water.
Hang on, what the hell? How many times have you been under the water and saw a fish
And I
went,
think Billy
bloody
Proctor
hell,
every
that
time.
fish is...
I think
You
Billy
went-
Proctor every
you
time.
went, shit, he's got Billy Proctor's eyes.
Wow, Billy.
He's got Billy Proctor's eyes.
Yeah.
So whenever you see a snapper, you just think,
I don't think
there
it's
goes
snapper.
Billy.
I'm thinking more like a mahi-mahi.
I didn't even know what that looks like.
They're beautiful fish.
How do you know so much about fish?
I love fish. Natural world, mate. Fish and
Did
trees
you?
and
I
birds.
bet you
That's
were
me.
that kid. Your mum would have taken you to the fish and chip shop in Tauranga, and you would have looked at the big old poster of New Zealand fish that they have on the wall, and you go, "Can we get some orange ruffy?"
No, I'll be like, excuse me, sir, what's coming today? And he'd be like, the gurnard's fresh. I'll have the gurnard, please. 3 pieces, mum. Crumbed, not battered.
You said that, like a old man. You went, "I'll have the gurnard, please, mum. 3 pieces."
Yeah, a couple of oysters on the
Bullshit,
side,
you
please,
did.
mum.
You went, "Mum, gurnard." If anything, you went, "Mum, get that flaky fish."
Yeah, I don't want shark. I don't want the shark.
A lot of them serve shark. Let's be honest.
Well, the shark, I mean, if it gets caught, then sure, eat it.
We'll
wrong
throw
with
it
that?
back.
Throw it back. Oh, I don't know if it's dead.
Throw it back for the other sharks.
You reckon?
Yeah, they deserve it.
I think if you
At
kill
least
a
it's
fish,
going
you got to go eat it.
At least it's going to their own, you know? Okay, we're getting off the subject of this amazing game.
Yeah,
So the Hurricanes...
That was my tactic, mate.
Fuck you. I got drawn into it as well, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
You bastard. The Hurricanes completely outplayed the Waratahs. The Waratahs obviously off to an amazing start, and then...
Yeah, we gave them
Woeful.
some kudos. We gave them some
Yeah,
big
but
kudos
then-
and some hope. This
we,
season.
and we have, but there's this thing with the Aussie teams where they've, I've said this, they've been playing each other. They come up, I mean, nobody, I got to say, I wouldn't have expected a 50-point pasting. I had a good feeling about it because
Yeah.
statistically,
what you would
they
do
don't-
for
and they don't,
win,
and they don't do well against the Hurricanes. They never have.
Okay.
But it was something special, and let's just pay homage to like the Lucies were.
The level great, yeah.
Mate, they're the best loose forward trio in the competition. If we play those 3 every week, and no offense to Brad Shields, we love Brad.
But
We love one of our 4 captains.
I like how you said if we play them every week. This is the first time they've ever played together. This year.
Season,
Yeah. But like, what do you mean? Like,
What do you
sure.
mean? But they play. Did you not watch last season when we were minor premiers?
Already forgotten.
Mate, they Yossi was huge. Lakai,
Yeah.
Karifi. I mean, it's harking back to the old days of Wellington that we always produced fantastic Lucies. Masoi, Soyalo,
yeah.
Collins.
Jerry Collins.
I
yeah.
mean, Wellington have always done really well, and they just completely monstered.
Okay, so out of your current loose forwards,
yeah,
who would you rather go for a beer with?
out of the current ones,
Yeah, the current 4. Let's add Brad Shields. in
probably
there too.
Brad Shields.
Oh, what? Because he's white.
No, what the? Why did you make this about race?
I just thought you. I just thought.
Nah, I think we've got a mutual connection with some friends, so I think there'd be something to go,
yeah, okay.
oh, mate,
Yeah,
bloody
little
this
connection.
person, or, the other guy. If I had to say the next person, I'd probably go, maybe Peter Lakai.
Yeah. He looks
mate,
a bit more chilled, eh?
I'd go, Pete. How you go?
I feel like Duplessis might be a bit intense for me, like just for a bit.
Well, he didn't respond much to our Toffee Pops. To our Mallow Puff sketch.
He didn't?
No, but his missus did. His missus, Duplessis'
she
missus,
plays netball, right?
Duplessis' missus came on and was like,
What's her name?
I don't really like Mallow Puffs.
Oh, really?
Sorry, I don't like Mallow Puffs. And I was like, oh, sorry, he can be another biscuit if you want.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but I don't think he can. I think he's Mallow Puff through and through.
Ah, well, he's a bloody good player is what he is. And you're right, they are a very good loose forward trio.
They are.
Amazing.
And look, they've taken a while to find their feet, but I reckon they've found it. And I just want to say, watch out. We're going to go to the game next week.
Oh, yeah.
Eden
Blues,
Park.
yes.
The Blues Hurricanes is going to be fantastic. Playing the second to bottom Blues.
Yeah. I don't know. That second half, the Waratahs it looked like they just gave up.
They were 24 odd points.
No, but then that's when the Hurricanes really kicked into gear.
Which, do you know what, is great because sometimes we're a little bit of a fall asleep team in the second half. But they knew when the Hurricanes sniff blood. This is the thing why the Hurricanes are so inconsistent. When they know they're onto something, they basically go for the jugular. But as soon as they get a sniff of that they're not going so well, they just become their own worst enemy.
So they're like a hammerhead shark. Lack a little bit of confidence, but as soon as there's a bit of blood in the water, they're like, ah.
Yeah, and they have the players to do it. That lineup. And do you know what? Where was Harry Godfrey? He wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna apologise. Riley Hohepa had a good game, and I've kind of slagged him off a little bit over the past. And he was great, mate. He was really good. He stepped up, and I don't know. I guess it was a combination of a lot of things, but they played out of their skin. And I was pacing around the room, clutching my balls.
Yeah. I've spoken to Riley, and he doesn't accept your apology. And he's asked for a box of beers and a sit down with you at McDonald's for whatever he chooses to order.
What?
That's what he said.
He wants to sit down at Macca's.
He wants to sit down at Macca's with you.
Maybe him and Macca Springer can go along together.
Maybe.
Macca Springer didn't get much of a look in this weekend either.
Well, he scored a weird try.
It was a weird one. It was an almost try.
Just before we move off this Hurricanes,
why move off it?
Game,
why move off it?
We've got other games to talk about.
Do we?
Yeah, they're not as important. Actually, there's one that is more important, I think. But, poor old Aaron Cruden. I love Aaron Cruden, and he's a Chief.
We all love him.
As well as a Hurricane, so we love him just
you're
as
about
much.
to bag one of your own.
No, it's not about bagging him. He says all the right stuff, and he's a very good analytical commentator. He has some great behind the scenes.
Well,
comments.
he's got a lot of experience.
It's the timbre of his voice. It's just a little bit dry. He's a bit lackluster.
You mean like what is it?
Mate, he's talking about the Hurricanes an amazing
an
game.
emphatic
and
victory.
He's like, Hurricanes are putting on a show tonight. It's real, it's not.
Mate,
there's not much to it.
He's a rugby player. Like, why would you expect?
Yeah, but so is Goldie.
Do you think he should go to some speech and drama?
I think maybe our guest from last week, Jace, does some speaking stuff. He just needs to get some fucking. Something behind his.
But they
commentary.
must have seen something in Crudes a little bit to get him on the program.
That's what I mean. He talks about the right stuff. He's actually really
he's
good.
very knowledgeable.
He's better than a lot of the other commentators. But
Yeah.
he just doesn't have that. He doesn't get me excited.
No.
He doesn't get me going like TJ does. He doesn't get me going like Nisbo. And you know what? Goldie is really coming up now. Goldie is he's got those.
Hey, Goldie really knows his stuff, eh?
Yeah.
But Crudes, look, he's I don't know. I mean, he's not. I think he's like a relatively personable guy, but mate,
This is what I mean.
I'd be bloody nervous if I was in that commentary box position too.
Totally.
I'd be like, hang on, what do I say? What do I say now?
All I'm saying is that I think Crudes is going to be a fucking good commentator. I really do. He's got the goods.
What I'm saying is that at the moment, you're shit.
No,
I
just feel like there's some. The only reason I'm saying something is because there's some potential there for him to be a great commentator.
Yeah.
I just want him to get a little bit of support behind him. He just needs TJ and Nisbo to take him out for a couple of wines on a Sunday night and just really do some practice. Maybe.
Well, maybe they're going to the Green Parrot tonight.
Oh yeah, could be.
Yeah. Maybe for a mixed grill.
Mixed grill.
Do you know what I am proud of though? From Aaron Cruden is that he refused to say hurricanes.
Yeah.
He refused. He was Canes, Hurricanes,
Yeah.
all the way through.
And
And
you
I
know
went,
why?
I love it.
Because he's a hurricane.
Well, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
That's where he started.
Yeah.
Until we got him up there.
Until you and then he
actually
really shone.
Yeah, then he really opened up.
Yeah. Wellington probably was a little bit too highbrow for him.
But
I
like
reckon he
Bodie.
needed to go back. Don't you dare. Take that back.
But like Ma'a,
Bowden Barrett.
going down to
Bowden
the
Barrett.
Highlanders.
Bowden Barrett has done sweet fuck all for the Blues, and we both know that.
He broke his hand.
He won bloody Player of the Year twice playing for the
All right.
Hurricanes.
Are you done? Are you done with the Hurricanes, mate? Anything
So the
else you wanna say?
Hurricanes.
Well done, mate. I appreciate that you. That was a hard slog to the start of the season, but you've arrived, and you arrived in style.
We arrived in style, and beautifully so. I still don't like the jerseys, but that's another thing. We can one step at a time.
One step at a time. Let's get the points on the table. Eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Where are we going to next?
Well, we're going to the other game that was that night. The Highlanders versus the Brumbies.
The Brumbies versus who?
Oh, the Highlanders?
Is that team that keeps choking at the end of the game all the time?
Ooh, Jesus.
They had a couple of tight wins.
Mate, we know. Well, look, that's harsh, but also the Highlanders, they never quite get there, do they? They never quite get there.
I feel sorry for them.
Well, I don't know if I feel sorry for them because they have and this is not just this season, they have a habit of making life very hard for themselves.
You think they're masochists?
Well, they're basically self-flagellation. They're like, we want to. It's like they don't get enough points on the board. They always have these great second half comebacks, but it's too little, too late. And
They don't
as
make
it would
easy
be for most
themselves,
teams,
do they? They make it very hard for themselves.
no, they
to
don't
win.
make it easy for themselves. But they thrive by having their backs against the wall, which I think we've said in previous episodes. But unfortunately, that doesn't come up trumps very often. I mean, they have the occasional rare, amazing victory where we go, they're back, and it's like, no, they're not because
And collecting bonus points, like losing bonus points, might get you into
well,
the
actually,
top 8, but it's not going to get you into the top 6.
They are amazingly good at collecting losing bonus points. But this is the thing: they come so closer than other teams do, that you go, guys, you're almost there. You like what? Just pile it on a little bit. I don't know. Are they just slow starters, the Highlanders? What is it?
I think they've just got some really good players, and they've maybe got some players that aren't really holding up the team like they should.
Yeah.
Like Tangito had another great game.
He did.
Scored a couple of tries,
He did.
and
he was amazing.
He was great
I
on
took him out of
defense.
my fantasy at the last
Yeah,
minute.
silly boy.
I put in Tava Nawai. Oh no, I didn't. Yes, I did.
But Tava Nawai still he was still all right.
He was good. The Highlanders remind me of the contestant that gets a 10-second penalty in Gladiators, and has to start behind the other person.
Yeah.
And most of the time, by the time they get to the travelator, they're just fucked.
Yeah.
They don't have enough. The other person gets a couple of goes.
And
at
when
it
they do
before
win, when they do win and when they do come from behind, it's amazing.
It's incredible.
And we
Everyone
celebrate it,
goes,
and they go,
"Mate."
"Oh, they're such a good team."
Yeah.
But really, they've just given themselves a big old.
There's just no need. But
Handicap.
look, a few players played well. Actually, Sam Gilbert had a good game.
Yeah, decent.
He had a decent game, but again, he's got the face of a sort of an upset baby, and it's, I don't know.
I mean,
I feel sorry for him.
Also, yeah, this game and like another game that we're about to mention, sort of got outshone by a couple of real pearlers this weekend.
Yeah,
It was a bit boring. I mean, compared to the other two.
yeah.
So should we move on to what's next? The old
Well, you done with the Highlanders?
Yeah, I think so.
What are we thinking is their future?
Well, I mean, they might.
What do they need to do
I
to
think-
get over? I want to ask you, what do they need to do to get over the hump of being there but never quite
They
being
need to, if they're going to have, if they're constantly going to have tight games, they need to find some ways to win the tight games. And I think it's a defensive issue. I think it's, I think they need to be a little bit more kind of, elaborate on defense.
So you think it's more of a defensive issue than a lack of attacking opportunity?
Well, I think
They're quite explosive sometimes.
Yeah, no,
on
I
the
think
attack,
they've got
aren't
the
they?
attack. I think they've got the attack. I just think they need to defend the points that they do get.
Yeah.
Because they're not as much of a flaring attacking team as the Crusaders, the Hurricanes.
And actually,
or
can
the
I just go
Chiefs.
back to the previous game just for a second? I don't want to gloat, but mate, that was an extremely amazing defensive effort by the Hurricanes last night too.
And that's what wins.
And they
these
were
games.
that's why I'm confident or a little bit getting buoyed up going forward is because last year that's why they were top of the table is that they were
just
sublimely defensive as well. So I'm hoping anyway. I don't want to keep going on about the Hurricanes, but I just I do. So the Hurricane.
Shall we head to Christchurch?
Well, what you mean now? The last flight's probably lit. Oh
no, 6:39. I think there's at 8:30.
I'd probably say I won't go to Christchurch for a long time if I don't have to.
Actually, I went to Christchurch last week.
Yeah, how was it,
mate? Delicious,
lovely weather,
like, really good. Yeah, it was great. There was a bit of rain actually. One of the days it was a bit cold, but on the whole, really, really nice. I got some.
And you've got some lovely comforts out there, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Got some in-laws family have a wonderful place. That's a bit of a sanctuary down there. You know, it's really nice. You get a
you got yourself
time.
A place on the fresco yet, mate?
Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
But mate, the price of flights. I know this is completely off topic.
Doesn't matter.
But mate, it was
let's everybody needs to acknowledge that
$864 return for me. Yeah. You know where else in the world you can go?
You're joking.
You're joking. And that was like they weren't special flights.
Well, I hope not. They shouldn't be.
They're just
unless
you're
sort of disabled, and then I guess it's always
so many flights. How are they getting away with charging that?
Because they've got a monopoly, mate. Oh, well, hang on. Jetstar are still going, right?
I think so.
Why don't you fly Jetstar? You're too
Once
good
you've
for
been
Jetstar,
burned, you
mate.
never go back.
I don't think you were ever burned. I just think you went, not for me.
I would rather pay an extra $800 than fly Jetstar.
What are you saying that Jetstar are $100?
No, I'm just saying an extra.
Oh, an extra. Oh, on top of that.
Oh, yeah, on top of any Jetstar.
Mate, I agree with you. I've had some terrible experiences. But also, sorted out old what's-his-name, although he's just retired or gone, isn't he? Greg Foran.
Yeah, hopefully that brings the prices down. I doubt it, though. $800 bucks.
That's, mate, you can get to Sydney for $800
easy. You can get to Sydney on like a weekend.
This
was midweek.
Or a weekday.
This was midweek, mate. This was midweek.
Midweek to Christchurch.
830.
That's actually, in New Zealand, do better.
Yeah. And
that is
we're
not
looking
good
for
enough.
sponsors, actually, but
also, I'm not going to have you sponsoring us like that. That's bullshit.
Not unless you bring your prices down.
Bring your prices down, and we'll consider letting you sponsor us.
All right, Christchurch. What do we got?
Well, they've got a lovely cathedral. Well, they did.
No, I mean the game.
Sorry, the game.
And this was potentially, I would say, probably the upset of the season. And I know I'm calling that early,
mate. You don't have to call it early. It is unequivocally the upset of the season.
45-29, the Moana Pacifica team finally stitched together 80 minutes of rugby.
They did, and let's be honest. Let's not pretend. And everybody listening, you know who you are. Every single one of you. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Everybody. Well, they didn't write them off, but the way the Crusaders have been playing the last couple of rounds, it was fair. It was a fair assumption that they would do that. I mean, they did pull a couple of players out, but even then, you'd think that maybe a team like the Crusaders would be able to string it together. But they got affected by that.
Speaking of that, pulling a couple of players out, resting maybe, giving some of their fringe players a bit of a run. That is an ultimate disrespectful move, and I think that really shat on them. They pulled out a couple of players. They started James O'Connor at first 5. Mate, disrespect. Don't disrespect Moana Pacifica.
Don't.
And they showed up and was like, they pulled the middle finger at them and they were like, fuck you.
And you see in the interviews with Artie, he cites a lot of that. He cites the fact that a lot of the pundits, and not just the pundits, but I mean the fans go, you haven't got a chance. And
well, that's me and you too, mate. He's talking to you more than anyone else.
He's talking to me. He's looking. He's going, Gareth
Williams.
You need to pull your socks up. Here's my thing with Moana. They actually do. They have some really exciting players. Why do I feel like? No, maybe they are going to pull it together. I don't know. I just feel like
they certainly pulled it
those
together. Those
anomalies happen. When was it? Who was it in Christchurch? Was it the Waratahs that creamed the Crusaders once in Christchurch? Remember, 94 points.
I know. You speaking of the Reds being a bogey team for the Chiefs, but they've also lost to the Crusaders too. Oh, sorry, beat the Crusaders too.
They have. This is what's amazing about Super Rugby this year is that it is kind of emulating the NRL, like we've said before, where you just go, geez, like honestly, sometimes you just don't know who's going to win, and you take a couple of players out like Havili, Reese. I was quite surprised that when those players are missing, the Crusaders just didn't really turn up. And what's going on with Scooter?
Well, yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, we talk about these players, these fringe players that you know they have a big game, and you put them into the All Blacks conversation, don't you?
Well, people like to.
Yeah.
It seems like the trend at the moment is as soon as somebody has one amazing game, you go put them in the All Blacks. Whereas someone like Duplessis Karifi, for example, that's not the same thing. When we say give him an All Black spot, that guy has been working for several years.
Yeah, but mate, he's been put on the fringe of the All Blacks. So he's been in that All Blacks 15, and he's might have had a test. I don't even remember.
No,
but he got close, right?
Yeah.
So he's the kind of player right now that needs to go, I'm going to fucking play out of my skin, and I'm going to prove to these people that I need to be in that role, right? Someone like Scooter. Oh, I'm All Blacks captain. And I've got a long ass year of rugby ahead of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play my role to perfection. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself at being captain of the Crusaders. I'm just going to do my job. I'm going to do it well. I'm going to put the minutes in because he's played 80 minutes of rugby for every game.
And we forget that. And he's got the stamina.
Yeah. And so he's building himself up. He's not trying to, you know, he's not.
So do you think he's going to have a massive end to the season? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying those kinds of players, maybe there's an element of going, you know,
smarter.
I am going to be smart
Work
about
smarter,
this season.
not harder.
And I'm not going to blow my load at the start of the season. I'm not going to risk getting injured. I'm going to put in the time, and I'm going to, like, once the finals of the Super Rugby season come along, and hopefully he'll be there. Yeah.
So what we're saying is once he's in the final against the Chiefs, he'll have a blinder and they'll beat you again, and you'll fail to win yet another Super Rugby competition.
That's not what I was saying.
Oh, sorry. I just completely misread that. I'm so sorry.
So you're not even going to make the finals again? Classic.
No, I'm just saying.
Who are you going to get beaten by this time?
Don't know.
Do we
Hopefully
get you
not you.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I can't wait to play you, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Oh, we're going to have fun.
Well, you're definitely
I remember the last time.
Peak at the right time.
I remember the last time.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Battle of the Tens out there for Moana versus the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Two Aussie tens, actually, which is quite weird.
Well, it is a little bit weird. And there's been a lot of conversation recently around whether New Zealand players should be allowed to go and play for Australian Super Rugby teams. What do you reckon about that? I kind of go, that'd be really interesting.
Well, that really opens up. I mean, if are you just saying Australia, or are you saying everywhere?
Well, it's pretty much only Aussie teams that they're going to be.
So it's just they have to play Super Rugby. They can't. Like
I'm sorry. I'm talking about Super Rugby. Yeah.
Why not?
There's only one
you're still watching them. You're still watching them play every week.
Exactly. I just think it'd be interesting because James O'Connor does a pretty good job. I don't know if he where was Kemera? I mean, maybe he should have been there.
I actually put James O'Connor in my fantasy team this week. He did all right. He didn't do bad.
You're a madman.
I know. Well, I didn't have DMAC, did I?
Yeah, you didn't have your guy to fall back on.
Mate, it was actually really hard with fantasy this week because we had the Blues and the Chiefs out.
Mate, it just shows that it wasn't hard at all. You just had to think outside the box.
I did think outside the box. I'm saying it was just hard to
I did really
the
well.
initial selection.
I got 600 odd points.
Right, mate. Oh, yeah, so did I.
Did you?
Yeah.
You were still ahead of me. I can't quite track you down.
That's what it's going to be like for the whole season, mate.
You're still just a little bit ahead of me. Just you wait,
just like
mate.
the Chiefs, mate.
Just you wait. I can't wait for you to capitulate. See you later.
You know what? I think the Moana team. I'm not trying to take anything away from them here.
Please don't.
No, I won't, because it was definitely their performance.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they need to thank the Chiefs for letting them into that
absolute arrogant little.
No. All I'm saying is that
you have to make it about the Chiefs, mate.
But no. Hear me out. that second half display against the Chiefs was actually really fucking good. And it's
amazing.
exactly the team that turned up in Christchurch. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying maybe it was that sort of second half against the Chiefs that gave them a bit of confidence and, gave them the belief that they needed to go down. Because it's
definitely.
If you can beat the Crusaders in Christchurch, right? I've said this to you before. You can fucking beat anyone because that's the hardest task.
You can, and that is the hardest task. And they did incredible. They outmuscled them, mate, to be honest.
Every facet of the game.
It was, must have been about 60 minutes in. Blackadder and Cullen Grace they looked like they were out on their feet,
but
mate,
they got
trying to
absolutely
defend.
outplayed by Miracle and
they did. And I was going, boys, you can't be playing for the ABs like that. You need a step. That's not good enough.
But Cullen Grace isn't in the conversation.
No, well, mate, I think people like to think that he's flirting around the edges. But after that performance, I went, no, mate, like no.
Yeah, and even Ethan Blackadder, he's injury prone, poor guy. Like he's actually had a lot of promise.
And when the Hurricanes Lucy's have a blinder like that, you go, I'm sorry, goodbye, get out of it. We'll take some of your type 5, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Cody Taylor had a great game.
Yeah,
he showed his class as he does.
So did Moana.
I know. He's an exciting prospect,
and we really. And
I'm not talking about the Mongrel Mob.
We threw his name out there last week, but he really stepped up. And then Cody also came and delivered when he came off the bench. And you know what? I'm real gutted that we got Jace on a little bit too early. Because imagine if...
we did get him on.
Imagine if we had him on this week.
Well, he wouldn't have come on.
You don't reckon?
No, he absolutely would have declined. He would have gone,
sorry,
I'm a bit sick.
My internet's gone out.
Well, it almost was out last time. We had terrible problems with that. But he certainly will be upset, as a lot of... Canterbury fans will be upset.
But not the Moana fans, because they have every right to be proud as punch. That was a bloody good game.
And I reckon Tana was certainly not looking away this week. In fact, I reckon if anything, he was looking them dead in the eye and potentially even kissing them, going on for the kiss.
What?
No, I reckon he
kiss on the cheek, just a little European side to side.
No, I reckon it was one of those things that was up for grabs. It was like an awkward hongi or something where it's like he goes in and then they both go, oh, but they're both so happy because of the win that they're like, oh yeah. Just a bit weird.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking that Tana might have kissed a few guys. I don't know. I don't know where
was that going.
I don't know. I'm just saying that maybe things got passionate. I'm not.
I think they did get passionate, and like you could see it in the post-match interviews. You saw a very emotional Artie there. Yeah. I saw a little bit with Sky Sport where Artie was putting a Samoan flag around Miracle, and that. Yeah. I mean, the guy almost teared up, and it got me going.
No, it's amazing, mate. They've
got a little bit funny. They
actually. Yeah, well, that's probably COVID. You should do a test.
I did, and it wasn't COVID. It was just a little bit of emotion.
It was just emotion.
It was just emotion.
I'm not used to that. Isn't there something that says something about New Zealanders? We're not used to emotions, so whenever we feel that, we go, it must be. That's so good. Oh, you should probably go do a COVID test, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Don't let your mother. Don't tell your mother.
You're leaking out your eyes.
You're leaking out. Oh. But no. And you know what? It just cements that decision for him to go and play for Moana. You know, if that instills that level of passion, keep going, man, because that's awesome. And especially, we need that more and more in New Zealand rugby because sometimes people lack a little bit of that.
Yeah, well, I think, people talk about the Crusaders' dominance and that led into what the All Blacks did, but there was a style of game that was very much zen. And it wasn't like passionate. It wasn't like hugely. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from those players because they were fucking amazing.
No, they were immense,
but
man.
It was more about that mentality, that steely mentality of like that Richie's mantra, which was what start again. It was that kind of thing. Like it's a neutral thing. That's a meditation thing, rather than it being what we're seeing in a lot of Super Rugby games this year. Is that ultimate fire and passion, which is actually shining through and giving a few good results.
So are we saying that the Crusaders might need to have another trip up to Golden Bay? Hang on. If we're saying an ayahuasca retreat
maybe
wasn't enough for them, what do they have to do now to come back from this deficit?
Well, maybe the ayahuasca retreat was just a 1 week wonder.
But what are they going to have to do now?
I don't know.
If they've spewed up all the shit from last year, mate, I reckon they should just.
They'll bounce back. They're a good enough team. They'll bounce back.
At this point, considering the fatigue, I'd just say they probably should smash a few bags before the game. They all do anyway. Let's be honest.
Don't.
They
There's
do.
testing, mate. They can't.
They can't afford that in Super Rugby, can they? They
I don't
do
know,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
That stuff's expensive, isn't it?
What?
Sorry, I wouldn't know.
Sorry, I thought you were back from injury, mate.
Oh,
I thought you would know.
Actually,
I thought you would know because you're back. You're back on the field, mate. As if your injury matters.
Speaking of being back from injury, I had a wee niggle of the knee, and I've been a bit embarrassed to bring this up to you actually.
Why?
Well,
you can have a dicky knee if you want.
Yeah. So
It's not
I
your
went
fault.
to an initial physio. It wasn't really working, so I needed to do a follow up, right? And with schedules being schedules, my physio's at the gym. I was at the gym at the time. I was like, I'll just put myself in for a wee follow up. I wonder if there's any times. And sure enough, there was one. There's a guy called Josh. Never met him. I thought, yeah, he's got the notes. He'll be fine. He's probably an experienced physio. We'll be good.
Well, you'd have to hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he shouldn't be working.
But it was a bit of a hit and hope situation. Like I didn't know what was going on.
Sure.
But I was like, it'd be nice to get it done, just to have another little look and maybe give me a couple more stretches or exercises. So I'm waiting outside. Out walks Josh Kronfeld.
No, are you serious?
I'm serious. The Josh Kronfeld.
What?
And I just I wet myself
At
a little
your gym?
bit. He's the physio at the gym, mate. And in hindsight, it's fucking ridiculous. In hindsight, when you're at the gym, there's all this advertising round, and
His face is everywhere, isn't it?
His face is everywhere. I just never
idea.
noticed. He's got these blue frame glasses on, and so he's just in disguise.
Is he doing the JK?
He's in disguise, mate. So anyway, Josh Kronfeld, are you Rari? Yeah.
Rari?
I don't
Did
know.
he say it that
No,
badly?
he didn't. I made that up. I made that up.
Okay.
He asked me to come and g'day, mate. Yeah, come on, bro. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I couldn't do it. I was nervous. I was starstruck.
Yeah, of course you were. So hang on. Do you think he knew that you knew?
I don't think so.
You hit it well enough.
I hit it really well.
You are an actor, mate.
He started his work. He did his work, and he was fucking rough as guts, but good.
On your knee, right?
Yeah, knee. But he's also getting into the glute and the hip and stuff as well.
Nice.
Finding the source of the problem,
Were
like
you
a good
clothed?
physio does. Yeah, I was clothed, but he was getting up under the shorts and stuff.
Cool.
A good physio needs to do that.
Yeah,
too.
they need to do what's necessary.
I don't want a physio that's above shorts. You don't want to go not into the underwear. I'm talking.
No,
like
that would be
sexual assault. Yeah,
yeah.
No, he's definitely.
And
not
we're not
that.
accusing him of that.
No, 100%. No. Yeah. So he started talking about what I needed to do, and I'm still in my head going, Josh Kronfeld's touching my leg. He's touching Josh Kronfeld, All Black, number 7. Highlight of my career.
I can't believe he's rubbing me.
Yeah, he's. I can't believe it.
This is weird.
And he says, "Oh well, yeah, I used to play a little bit of rugby," and in hindsight, that was my chance to go, "Yeah, mate, I know who you are. You were a fucking great number 7 for the All
Well
Blacks."
done.
All I said was, "Oh yeah."
That was it.
That was it.
You went, oh yeah. And what did he say to that?
He just kept
So he
explaining-
probably-
he showed me his ankle, which has obviously had 20 surgeries on, and
And
he's
so
got
he probably
orthotics
felt
and stuff.
deflated because he went,
I know.
wish this
He's,
guy
he's
asked me.
probably gone like, oh, he's in the right age to know who I was,
Mate.
and I absolutely was,
Mate.
And I pulled his head apart. Pass me that over. It's right behind you. That's literally him. Like 3 weeks before, I was pulling his head apart on the interchangeables.
You told him, mate, I took your head off your body last week. You go, excuse me? You go, on the interchangeables, mate, I took your head off your body. Do you know what? My hypothesis is,
What?
I think he absolutely 100% knew that you knew who he was. I reckon he felt the tension in your knee. I reckon, as good as a physio that he probably is, he felt the tension in your knee and he went, this guy knows exactly
What
who
do I
am.
do now?
Well, you didn't have to. You're ashamed now. Josh Kronfeld, if you're listening to this, Ra's a big fan, mate. As am I. We were both big fans.
Mate,
Are you going to go back and see him?
Well, I've already been back and I had to go to someone else.
You've gone again.
Yeah, but
you've gone to someone else.
Yes, but I couldn't. It's only because he wasn't available. He was that
okay.
good that I would have.
So you didn't actively avoid him?
No, I didn't actively avoid
Jeez,
him.
I was going to say that's a bit weird.
And I don't know whether I can acknowledge it again though. Next time I go in, like, do I go? Do I start it off? Do I go? Like, and I'd like your help with this out there, listeners. What do I do?
If everybody, whoever's listening, can we get some thoughts on what Raj should do to handle
Like,
this
he was really
Josh
a
Cromwell
hero
situation?
of mine when I was a kid. Like, do I go in there and go, hey, Josh, look, I'm sorry about last time, but I do know who you are. And I really respect you as a man, as a player, as a physio. Now let's get down to business. I mean, physio business.
Yeah. But you're sort of apologizing, but
well, I don't know whether he's listening. I'm not apologizing.
No.
I don't need to apologize.
I don't. I guess you don't need
I'm
to.
just admitting a little faux pas.
Because there's a world where maybe you're friends and you go for a little beer or something. Because you're a lovable guy.
Yeah, and I don't want to
respect.
take that off the table. And I don't want me, not acknowledging the fact that I knew who he was to be in the way of us being good mates.
He absolutely knew, mate. He did. I know he did. You would have been like thinking you were all playing it cool, and he's like, mate,
I wanted to
just
respect the
stop
fact
it.
that he is a physio, and he's a bloody good physio. So
Good on him.
Yeah.
You're professional, eh?
yeah, that's
Because
it.
you approach all your physios like that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got no bad history with physios.
I'm not saying you do.
Thank you.
Okay, final game of the round was the fourth game this week was Reds versus the Force.
Yeah, and we've already brought
in
it up.
a pouring with rain, fucking wet Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah. We
Mate,
brought,
the Reds came out on top and are now top of the table.
Yes.
But they only just got away with them. I mean, the Force were hammering them at the end, and they kind of they did pretty well turn over the ball at the end. But I mean, I don't know. Interested to see how the Highlanders go against the Force this week, but also how the Reds go against you. It's going to be an interesting barometer, I think, of where those teams are at.
it depends how the Chiefs have used that off week, that bye week.
Hopefully, haven't gone down to Firecats.
No, hopefully not. Down to Palmy. Is that where
No,
Firecats is?
Firecats is in Hamilton.
Oh, is it
isn't
in Hamilton?
Well, is it? Pretty sure it is.
Sure.
I'm sure I've been there.
They might have. They might have gone to
I
Fire.
could have been in Palmy.
Maybe they just like
Sketchy.
lose a little bit of tension, by going to Firecats.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But they played well again. Kalani Thomas played well again.
Yeah.
There was some great.
Well, there was a
Tom Robinson.
Tom Robinson, and he's the I would put this out there that he's probably the prop of the Super Rugby competition so far, and Super Rugby fantasy.
Is he
certainly says
officially?
so. I think so.
Is
yeah.
he top of the?
Yeah, he's been in my
top of
team
the
a few
league?
weeks. Yeah, absolutely. But that.
You've had him in your team a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, I think it was right at the start of the season. He had a cracking start, and then I was like, oh yeah, he's got some points on the board. So props don't score fantasy points very easily. So you've really got to back the right.
Well
horse.
done, mate. Well done.
So Tom Robinson's been in there. Well, I mean, you only have to look at who the best props are.
It's actually quite easy. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, anyone can do it. Yeah. I mean, I know you don't really take it that seriously.
I do. Very
do.
deadly seriously.
But a classic 50-meter prop
That
try.
was good.
And
it was a forward pass.
Mate, doesn't matter. You just got to see the way that guy was running. He was like a kid in a candy store. He was running
Must have been a
towards
big candy store.
He was running towards a 50-cent mixture at that. He was like a 10-year-old running.
Well, he was
running to the dairy to get with his 50-cent piece he found down the back of the couch, and he was running to get that. Those little lollies.
He was either running away from to get a 50-cent mixture, or running away from a really angry dad.
Yeah, true.
Like an abusive father or something.
It was the epitome of pinning your ears
He
back.
was going for it.
Yeah, and he got there, 50 meters.
And I'm not sure what his scoring track record is, but his team was so stoked, which makes me think that he doesn't get the old meat pie often.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been doing well in every other facet of the game, so good on him for getting the try.
Yeah, good on you,
and
Tom
it raised
Robinson.
a question for me, like, well, who are your favourite front row runners in Super Rugby? Because I'm thinking, obviously from the Hurricanes, it was Dane Coles. Yeah,
I mean, 100%. In fact, the All Blacks, I think, posted on Instagram just the other day that classic of his in the Bledisloe Cup at Eden Park where DC swerved and gave it to him, and he basically did a 40-metre run.
I saw that. That was pretty good.
Man, he
was quick.
So much pace.
He
was on the wing more than he was in the bloody scrum.
That's true. He was quite often out of the wing.
It was incredible.
Cody Taylor also has a good run.
He does, and he actually scored a pretty decent go last night. The ball came loose off the. I don't know. He just has a way of scything through as well.
He got his jersey pulled so much that it went white.
What?
Well, someone grabbed his jersey to pull him back,
and the dye
when it goes white because there's so much nylon in it. Yeah. But Fitzpatrick had a couple of, I remember him like old school having a couple of good runs. But what other front rowers out there were good?
Just don't know, like in terms of the props.
Yeah,
who are the big props? Tony Woodcock?
Yeah, I mean, he scored that lovely French try, but that was a line-out
It's because he was nimble. It's always you don't get a lot of nimble props. There's quite a few big boys these days. Like you don't probably see, like Tamaiti Williams, for example, would he have done a Tom Robinson?
Bendon commercial?
No.
No one's asking the props to do Bendon commercials,
I wasn't going to say Bendon commercial, mate. No. No one in their right mind. Well, do you know what? Those guys need undies too. Mate, they need undies as much. Why can't they? We're not body shaming these days.
I'm not body shaming.
We're
I'm
all
just
about
saying
plus
they're
size.
not going to be on the top of the list for the
Why not?
commercial.
Plus size.
Mate. Sure. Okay.
Bendon.
You really think
you get
2025?
Get
Tamaiti.
Tom Robinson and Tamaiti on a billboard with a pair of white dacks.
They don't want to be up there, mate.
That's the thing. Who does want to be up there?
People that put the time into their bodies looking aesthetically
Are you saying
pleasing.
that those guys don't put the time into their bodies?
No, they put amazing amounts of time into their bodies.
They also just put a few other things
No,
into their bodies
What
too.
I'm saying is that they're not going for aesthetic gains. They're not going for the washboard abs and lovely
they can't. It's
pectorials
beyond
and
that.
the big old arms.
So they're not built like that.
No, exactly.
Not like you and me.
Jesus, put us in a fucking couple of white fronts would probably sell a few undies.
Jeez. A great win by the Reds. They went to top of the table and they come in next week with a big, big old hoodoo that plays very much in their favour, as you know. Although, hang on, are you going over to Suncorp? You are.
No. Is
it at FMG?
FMG, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's at FMG, mate.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good, mate.
Yeah.
You need to chill out.
I'm not chilling out.
About
I'm going to be excited. You and I are going to watch that together, and then we're going to go to the Hurricanes
What
Blues.
you need to worry about is this Blues game.
No, I don't. Mate, I don't need to worry about the Blues.
Is this going to be another
whatsoever.
one? So what are you going to say about the Blues, mate? Because every time you've said...
I don't want to talk about the Blues. They're not worth my salt.
Is he going to get a big old bonus point winning at Eden Park this week?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
In a big old win.
Yes.
Blues are not up to much.
No, we know that.
So you got a bonus point win coming up.
Yep.
All right.
You heard it here first.
Look forward to this.
So do I. Okay, on that note, what are our picks then for the round? So what have we... Oh, we have to do our awards quickly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Christ, we're waffling on.
Yeah, you are.
All right.
You are, mate.
Is it me? Oh, for fuck's
Most
sake.
improved player.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry about that.
You just
most
still
improved.
getting it wrong.
Most improved player. Mate, you've got to be consistent.
You're not consistent.
Yeah, that's consistency. Getting it wrong. Anyway, most improved player. I think the Hurricanes in general really should get this award.
Yes.
There's one person which I think I haven't, mentioned his name much this year or thought about him much. Balin Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was he deserved his late little cross, and just some amazing defense, technical defense, amazing.
Yep. I'm going to go with Ruben Love.
Yeah. Oh, that
That pass, mate. Just purely because he needs a mention for the pass.
The century.
It was. I mean, that was a 25-meter extravagant. Like, that was sublime. And he was. The thing is, this is why it was so amazing to watch that game. By that point, the Hurricanes were playing with such a confidence that he was just able to throw that like he was at a training session.
He wasn't even under pressure.
Nah.
He just did it for fun.
He'd also run back there from a maul, and he's quality,
From
mate.
a mauling from what? Like a tiger or something?
No.
Oh, like a maul as
Like
in
a
the
maul
rugby
as in the rugby,
Oh,
yeah.
right. I thought
He'd
you meant
run-
like a mauling, like an
he's-
animal was like attacking a kid on the sideline or
No,
something.
when would that happen?
Don't know, mate.
That would be
It's just the
weird.
way that you talked about it was like
It's not the Colosseum,
He was
although
coming from a
it looks a
mauling.
lot like the Colosseum
He was coming
in some
from a
ways.
mauling and he's run on and then he's done a big flick pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Few pitfalls.
Well, there would be, especially in like 9-9.
Anyone you say you got Ruben?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ruben Love. Who else have we got?
Player of the day.
Good on you, mate.
that
Player of
you?
the day. I mean, I've given this to him before, but I think
we've
after
got the
that
same person, don't we?
He goes down to Christchurch and he absolutely rules that game. He might not have been the shiniest player on the field, but I
He was
think,
pretty shiny.
mate, like the kicks into play, kicks into space, the tactical kicking, Pellegrini.
Patrick Pellegrini.
Calm,
Mate,
he was smart.
Mate, he looks the goods.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a very, I mean, he had a little bit of it. Well, first half last week was a little bit of a shocker for him, but he looks good. He's just got composure. He works the game. Like he set up. I mean, that try that he set up and then was on the end of that he scored was a sublime fucking piece of work.
And you know what? He talked after the game about playing a game with his hero, James O'Connor, as an Aussie first five. And he absolutely fucking run rings around
Yeah,
him.
well, of course. I mean, as he should if he's a younger sort of. I mean, James O'Connor's in the twilight of his career. You know,
He still looks good.
I'm not saying that he doesn't look good. He's just been to Macca's a few too many times maybe. No, Pellegrini is
He's still a spy.
Pellegrini's seriously impressive. So I mean, I'd love to see him go from strength to strength.
Wanker of the week. What?
It's just looking at the pads. We need to label them.
Yeah, why
Sorry,
don't you,
everybody.
mate? Wanker of the week. Mine goes to Joey Walton. He was the under the pump captain against your team.
Yeah.
And mate, he was just whinging. He had a little carried back moment in which he obviously carried it back,
Mm-hmm.
and then he got called up for it, and he's like did this big old like pantomime acting display, like, what do you mean? Let's go upstairs. Like this is bullshit. You can't just like say that you got. And then he got sent off. And he was whinging again.
He was whinging.
He was like, the camera came on. And he's like, "This is fucking bullshit. I didn't even do anything wrong."
He was having a fucking moan.
He was just doing a classic Aussie.
You don't want it.
moan.
Classic Aussie moan. I don't really have a wanker of the week.
Oh, that's nice.
You.
Why?
Just
I
for
didn't
not,
even play.
Just for not acknowledging the fucking Hurricanes enough.
I did. What are you talking about? I acknowledged them.
Just acknowledge them some
hugely.
more.
No.
Hurricanes.
Okay. You win next week, and I'll acknowledge you.
Thank you. Yeah. Hey, so looking forward to next week.
Yep. Chiefs Reds. We talked about
First
that.
game up.
FMG.
That's going to be huge. Bit of a bogey. but
my pick is
what
a
are our
close
picks?
one, but I think the Chiefs have got it. Mainly
Okay.
because of the home advantage, and I know that there's going to be a little psychological battle because of what you talked about, a couple of losses for the Reds. But I think the Chiefs especially coming off the bye, a bit of a rest. Mind you, Reds are coming in with a bit of momentum, but I still think the Chiefs have got it.
Oh, I'm going to pick the Reds. I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, but you would,
Yeah, well, I have to.
because you're a bit of a CNX Tuesday, mate.
Who else we got?
Moana Waratahs up in Albany.
I definitely have Moana off that performance and the performance that they delivered in the second half against the
hope
Chiefs.
that they can back it up.
Mate, they will. I reckon they've got, the Waratahs are going to be hurting, it's going to be great. But no, Moana have got something special at the moment, man. And so that's going to be interesting if that's another win for them. Yeah, definitely Moana.
Drua Crusaders. And
Crusaders.
The tricky one about this one is that it's in Suva, where the Crusaders
they've
have
lost before.
So,
Are they going to lose 2 on the trot?
well, maybe that would be nice. I'm going
going to go Drua.
I'm going Drua.
I'm going Drua too.
I'm going Drua.
Only because even if I think the I reckon the Drua. Well, the only place they win is at home, so it's got to be them, right?
Blues Hurricanes. at Eden Park.
Hurricanes.
I think the Blues are going to do what the Hurricanes did this week or last week.
Are you out of your mind?
I think they're going to turn
It's
up.
not possible. Well, yeah, but
I
they're not
think
going to put
they-
50 points on
It
someone.
was their chance to do it last week against the Crusaders, and they failed to do it. And I think they're too good a team not to have something over the bye week, like 2 weeks of prep for this game. I feel like they're going to bring something that maybe we haven't seen this year.
No, yeah, okay.
And I think it's going to be exactly what the Hurricanes bought.
I
this
think
week.
the Hurricanes are going to keep on a roll, and I reckon they're going to do them.
I think it's going to be really close, and I think the Blues are going to pip them.
Yeah, you would think that.
Force Highlanders. What are we thinking?
The Force are going to get him, I reckon.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I reckon this is terrible. I'd love to see the Highlanders win No, I reckon the Force are going to get it over them. I think they've got. They're both coming off. They're both coming off a loss, but I think if anything, away from home, I think the Force are just going to have a little bit of an advantage, on their home turf, and it's going to be tough for the Highlanders. I reckon.
Yep.
They've lost a couple now, and I reckon, yeah.
Force it is.
Force it is.
All right, that's it.
That's us. We've gone a little bit over time.
Oh, thank you for tuning in.
Make sure to subscribe. Spotify, Apple.
You got it. Hooroo.